Hello YouTube, I'm back with the oil leak issue I had. It got worse, as you can see. I was leaking oil on a constant basis. Every time I started my car up and tried to drive off, I would leak oil everywhere. Mainly on startup, but eventually it did start leaking as I stopped at lights and sat in spots with the car running. The issue was caused by this part right here. As you can see, it was leaking off this side right here due to this little ring right here. It gets old and kind of brittle, and it lets it leak. When I got the new one, you can tell the difference between this ring and the new ring. You can't buy this ring anywhere, so you end up having to buy the whole part, which kind of sucks. This whole part costs about 80 bucks. I ordered mine from a guy named Albert. He's on Facebook, Veloster Nation. That's where he's on there. Everybody know who Albert is. He do OEM parts for the Velosters. I think you can replace this ring with a probably an O-ring from a store somewhere, but I didn't trust that due to the fact of it got little tabs in it. It kind of tabs in to hold it in place, and there's a lot of work to take this thing off. It's not easy at all. First thing that's going to give you problems is getting these hoses off because of their location. Underneath the car, there's two hoses, and because of the location, there's little squeeze tabs that you have to get off. Boy, that's hell. What I ended up doing is this one you can get to easily, so I would take this one off first. Then once you take this one off, you can kind of turn it sideways underneath the car to try to get to this one to get it off. And when you replace it, I would do it opposite. I would put this one on first and then this one. It's still going to be hell doing it underneath the car on the ground. It's going to give you hell, I'm telling you that now. The bolt that goes through here, the nut that's on it is a 30 millimeter. It's a bolt that goes all the way through. It's a 30 millimeter nut that's on there that you have to take off. Use your socket wrench to break it. But once you do that and you keep trying to turn it, it's going to get harder to come out due to the fact of the bolt that they put in here do have a style of Loctite on the top of it, come from the factory, and it makes it tough to get it out by hand. So what I did was I used the impact wrench and put it on there and took it the rest of the way out. But I did break it loose by hand, which I think will save you an issue of stripping it out or whatever. I broke it loose by hand and then used the impact wrench to get it the rest of the way out. But to put it back in, it was in that. I didn't need anything. I just used the socket wrench to put it back in by hand. I got it tight, snugged it up. It solved the issue. Remember, this is aluminum, so you don't want to get in there and get it too tight. It might cause you another problem. Putting these back on underneath the car is an issue. You'll figure it out once you get to that point, I reckon. But I'm just giving you a little information on what I've done so far to this car, which is replace this part, which stopped the leak. It stopped it instantly. Like, as soon as I started the car up, there was no more leak. So I know exactly it was this part. I also replaced this thing. It's the intercooler of the car. And the reason I replaced this one is because when I first got the car, I stripped these bolts out that was in here. And I actually sealed it down with some kind of sealer. I don't remember exactly what it was, but as you can see, I'm pulling on this with all I got with my fingers, and it won't let it loose. I think I was getting a boost leak from this part, so I just went on and replaced it as well while I was in the car. To replace this part, you're gonna end up pulling your bumper cover off. Your metal crash bar itself has to come off to get to the bracket that holds this part on, which is 2 10mm bolts. Take those off. The bracket in this falls forward, but of course, you gotta take all the other stuff loose. I'm just giving you a general idea of what I had to do to get that out. And that right there was an interesting job underneath of the car. So just let you know, be prepared. Under the car, it's fun, interesting. Yeah, I did a lot of cussing. It took me about Average, I think, about 2 hours to actually get that part out and put it back in. About 2 hours. So just be prepared. That's all I have for you guys. And I did a full tune up on the car. I did all that all in one day. I did a full tune up, spark plugs, coil packs, did that, did this, did that, all in one day. This is just a little update on what I did to stop my leak. You guys enjoy, stay safe, avoid COVID.